Now, dear children, continues of chapter number 1, standard 9, subject social science. Our next topic is economic impact of the company. When the evaluate the 100 years of the company rule in India, we realize that India, which had an inviolable position in the world in the previous century. Now, what happened that year? They have to given then. If you see the 100 years of the company rule in India, we realize that the India which had a inviolable. Now what was the meaning of inviolable? Inviolable it means covetable, gehri position in the world in the previous century become merely it means only a country that produce a raw material for England. It means what happened that within the 100 year of British rule, now India has only the country have only produced the raw material for the England, and our prospective market for the goods produced in factories. Bengal exported the cotton clothes, raw silk, sugar, jute, Mussolini in 1708 to 1756. Now what happened there? This all are the name of commodity where Bengal was exported in 1708 to 1756. But after the dual power policy, now what happened that after the which kind of the policy? Dual power policy, the glitters of the economic prosperity. Now what was the मीनिंग ऑफ ग्लिटर? ग्लिटर इट मीन्स शाइन, जिसको हम हिंदी में चमक कहते हैं, ऑफ द इकोनॉमिक प्रोस्पेरिटी ऑफ बंगाल वॉज फेडेड. फेडेड इट मीन्स नाउ the Bengal economic prosperity was faded. Faded it means weak, दुर्बल हो गई, because of the policy of the dual power policy. The dual power policy, it means it is known as a द्विमुखी शासन, was introduced for the first time in Bengal, where the power of collecting revenue was with the British. It means who collect the revenue under the dual power policy? The Britisher collect the revenue. It means Britisher collect the taxes under the dual power policy, and the responsibility of the people welfare was with the Nawab. And who do the responsibility of the people of welfare work? This responsibility of the welfare work was on the hands of the Nawab. It means this kind of the dual power policy here. Thus the British got the power without a responsibility under dual power policy. Now what happened that Britisher have a power but they have no responsibility. Nawab had a responsibility but they have no power, and this is the most important thing. Now what happened that, dear children, here Britisher have power but they have no responsibility of welfare. Here Nawab have without power but they have a responsibility, and this was known as a subsidiary alliance system which ruined the Bengal economically. It means here the Bengal was totally weak under this policy. The unfair revenue collection policy by the company made the Indian peasant a debtor. What was the meaning of the peasant? Peasant it means a farmer, kisan. Now it was become a debtor. Debtor it means कर्ज हो जाना, ऋणी हो जाना. The British government imposed unfair taxes on the Indian cloth industry. Now what happened there? Now British government has also imposed. What was the meaning of imposed? Imposed it means थोपा गया, लगाया गया. क्या? ज़्यादा taxes, unfair taxes on the Indian cloth industry, and they adopt the various deceitful practice. Which kind of deceitful practice? To ruin it means बर्बाद कर देना, नाश कर देना, the prosperous of the Indian industry, because of which it completely collapsed. Collapse it means now Indian industry was totally collapsed. It means the Indian industry was totally fall, एकाएक गिर जाना. The Indian artisan become the poorer. Now what happened that Indian artisan become the poor as well as the Indian artisan become the unemployed. The company trader forced the weavers of the Bengal to sign the contract. Now who was the weaver? Weaver it means जो इंसान कपड़े बुनने वाला होता है, that is known as a weaver. It means the weaver of Bengal to sign the contract for providing the definite quantity of the clothes in short period. If the weaver refused the sign of the contract, then he would be punished by being less or jailed. What was the meaning of the less? Less it means कोड़ा मारना, जोर से मारना, जो हॉर्स को वर्शिप के लिए होता है, worship के लिए. It means now what happened that if any weaver not sign the contract of Britisher, then Britisher give the punishment being less or jailed. Before the arrival of the company, the Indian villages were self-reliant and prosperous. What happened then? Before the East India Company who arrived in India, then before our Indian village was self-reliant. What was the meaning of self-reliant? It means the Atmanirbhar, and prosperous it means Samrudh, rich. But under the company rule, now they became dependent and poor. And after the rule of the company, it means the British East India Company. Now what happened that our Indian village become dependent and poor. During the rule of the East India Company, the first railway line between Mumbai and Thane and steamer services between India and England was started, and the development of the port in Mumbai, Madras, Chennai and Calcutta also took place. Now what happened there? Here this kind of the things was started, and these things regarding that the first railway line was started between Mumbai and Thane, steamer service between India and England was started, and the port was also developed by the East India Company. And where this port was located, Mumbai, Madras, Calcutta, and took place. Our next topic was social impact of the company rules. During the British administration, the spirit of freedom of speech and thought developed among the people due to the development of the newspaper. Now what happened there? During the British administration, and spirit of the freedom of speech and the thought developed among the people due to the development of the newspaper in India. In the Indian society, certain wrong social custom, rites and rituals were prevalent during this time. Now what happened there? During this time in Indian society, certain wrong social custom means samajik rit rivaj. Our rites it means sanskar. Our rituals it means जो धार्मिक संस्कार रस्म रिवाज होते, they all were prevalent during this time, and which are sati system, female infanticide, it means bhrunatya, child marriage. This all kinds of the wrong social custom prevalent into the Indian society, with sati system, female infanticide, child marriage. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Durgaram Mehta, Behramji Malbari, they were all the stalwarts who role over the instrumental in getting the laws up. These all people are the stalwarts. Stalwarts it means पक्के समर्थक जो दिग्गज होते हैं for abolish this kind of the social custom into the India, and they passed the law with the help of the Britisher, and this all people Raja Ram Mohan Rai and this all people passes the law by the help of the Britisher to evil the custom, social custom into the Indian society. As the administration of framework in India and Angelicide. What was the meaning of Angelicide? Angelicide it means make English in form or character. What was the meaning of Angelicide? Angelicide it means make English in form or character. There was a demand for the people with the knowledge of English, and that's why the Britishers started the English education beginning to be imparted in India. due to the Lord Macaulay endeavors. What was the meaning of the endeavors? Lord Macaulay endeavor. Endeavor it means efforts, प्रयास करना. As recommended by the Charles Wood, that university were established in Mumbai, Madras and Calcutta. Why? Because Britisher had a need for regarding with the people who work under the British rule. A whole class of people with knowledge of English developed because the English education. With the passage of the time, this group made demand for social reform and gave the momentum to the process of the reformer. Now, our next topic is conclusion. Thus, the East India Company came to India being a elude it means आकर्षित करना, confuse करना, भरमाना by the prosperity and the trade opportunity. The company rule in India produced certain good and bad result in political, economical and social and cultural field. Now what happened there? This British East India Company rule in India now produced certain good and bad result in political, economical, social and cultural field. The company adopted the policy of making England prosperous. Which kind of the policy was accepted by the company and adopted by the company in India? They have to make the England prosperous at the cost of India, and reform they made in the administration for their own interest and indirectly proved to be the beneficial for the India. Now what happened there? Whatever the reform done by the Britisher are only for the betterment of the administration and betterment of their own interest, but it indirectly provide the benefit to the India.